In 2018, there was a big narrative about the ETF. The Bitcoin ETF is going to save the market and it's going to push Bitcoin back up to 20K and beyond. It didn't. I mean, lots of attempts at Bitcoin ETFs, but now Blackrock has a Bitcoin ETF that, in my opinion, is 100% sure thing. Because if Larry Fink is behind it, Blackrock is saying they want to do this, who's going to tell them no? Blackrock pulls the strings of the world, in my opinion. This isn't a conspiracy theory. Like, there's a lot of weird stuff that happens at Blackrock. So whatever they decide to do, it's going to happen. I mean, when you control trillions and trillions of dollars of the world's assets, if you want to make something happen, it just kind of happens. So what happens when BlackRock, Robinhood, Michael Saylor, other large entities and corporations and governments are mining it, accumulating it, and basically as we go on in the future, as you know, when we come up to the next Bitcoin halving in April, the distributing supply will be reduced. So what happens to, my parents if they want to buy Bitcoin, or someone's grandma when they're realizing, wow, if the world's financial landscape continues to worsen, they're basically edging people out of the market.
If you want to see more videos and interviews like this from influential people in tech, finance, and sports, subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit the bell to be alerted. And go a step further and join the YouTube and membership area for early releases of videos like this. I'm out of here. Ha! All right, it's your boy Crypto Blood. Welcome to another Kick in the Session, guys. And today I've got a new guest. He's out of Tokyo drifting, Aaron Dishner. I got a ping from my guys over at inthemoneystocks.com. My guys over there, they said, hey, CB, want you to go check out this guy. He's doing a lot of great things in the trading crypto arena. I'm a trader myself, so I'm very excited to have Mr. Aaron Dishner on with us today. How are you, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. Thanks for coming on. Now, Aaron is, guys, a lead instructor at Verified Investing and the Better Trades, Inc. He is an international crypto educator, serves over 25,000 students as a bot trader and crypto day trading expert. All right, man. So tell me about the bot trading. I got my own bot trading. I'm always interested to hear other quantitative traders, quant traders, and what they're into and what they're doing. Tell us a little bit about what you got going on. What's your secret sauce, man, so we can steal it?
DCA.
DCA. Hold on.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm looking for something more than that. No, but
isn't it funny? Everybody is always looking for something more. Everyone is always talking about a secret sauce, right? Or like if you have this special indicator that everything's going to align, it's going to be perfect. Honestly, I've been thinking about this a lot. A lot of people are looking for the right charts. They're looking for the right indicators. They're looking for the right platform, but really it's all about the right mindset. So if you know how DCA bot trading works and you can stick to your trading plan no matter what happens and follow a set of rules, which is something that I follow and something that I teach, you'll have success. It's just a matter of patience in your time frame. So I know DCA is not sexy at all, but when you're doing it on faster time frames, it can be very lucrative. I always say as well that bot trading should always be an assisted strategy or assistive strategy. It shouldn't be your number one only strategy. So I do a mix of what I call passive, which is bot trading, and active trading, which is like manual trading, looking at charts and trying to figure out your entries and exits, doing leverage trading, doing something that I call A/B trading or account building, which is favoring riskier charts that are low cap, very volatile, like big 15, 20% moves, but the volume is super duper low, like on KuCoin, Gate.io, stuff like that. But it works really well.
Nice. So tell us about your background. Like, how long have you been trading? I asked you before going live here, your journey. Why are you in Tokyo? And you told me you and your wife moved in 2009. I said, was the great financial crisis a catalyst? And you said, absolutely. So just kind of tell us about yourself, how you got into trading and ultimately in crypto.
So I've been trading crypto ever since late 2017. I came in with that horde back in December, not ashamed at all. So December 2017, I didn't buy Bitcoin. I bought Ethereum at 700. It doubled up to 1400. And I showed my wife my phone. Check this out. I just made 100% on this trade. She's like, that's great. when are you going to take this money and do something with it though? So, I was like, oh, it's going to keep going. It's going to keep going. And then I realized quickly that, crypto is a different market because I've been trading stocks since 2015.
Okay.
And stocks are great, but living in Japan, living in a different time zone, everything was happening when I was asleep. Admittedly, I didn't know anything about Forex, but crypto really spoke to me mainly because of the promise that Bitcoin has in that it's a solution.
Yeah.
That's the best thing that I could say about Bitcoin is that it is a solution that has a lot of promise to work and to fix a lot of the world's problems with money.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I moved to Japan in 2009, but I moved here to work at a Christian international school. I'm a music teacher.
Oh,
So
nice.
I still teach. It's fantastic because teaching in a classroom setting gives me a different perspective on how I deliver content and how I craft my courses for people. So
Absolutely. That's a good point. That's a good point.
it's a fun gig. I love music a lot. It's been something that I've been doing for a long time. And it's funny how there are a lot of similarities in reading music, understanding music, listening to music, because music is really all about patterns and your expectations.
And harmonics, right? And like getting into the groove and the flow,
Structure.
right?
Exactly.
Structure, yeah.
So if you have a good idea of music and how music flows, what your expectations are to come next, how you could flow inside of something, I would think that you'd be a good trader. That's at least my opinion.
Never looked at it that way. That's a great point, Aaron. So, man, just really quickly, just you piqued my curiosity about, you going to Japan, to Tokyo, the Christian thing, your religious thing. How like what is the breakdown of religions over there in Japan? I thought they were very big philosophy based, like Buddha and all that, right? Is that true, or what's I never thought about, because I know in China they like have the majority of those individuals are atheists, right? I think I'm correct on that stat. I think it's like 80% of people in China are atheists. But what about Japan? Tell us about Japan.
Yeah. So on the religious side of Japan, most people would say that they are atheists. However, Japan is a very religious country. Most people wouldn't say they're religious, but they are. There are certain festivals and holidays and celebrations that happen throughout the year where people have to go to a shrine, which would be a Shinto shrine, or go to a Buddhist temple. Yeah. So like when someone dies, the funerals are going to be held at a Buddhist temple because Buddhist temples are primarily, they deal basically with funeral rites and people going to visit their ancestors or pray to their ancestors. Personally, for me as a Christian, I think it's a big racket. It's how they make a ton of money. And might ruffle some feathers there. But the Shinto shrines,
not on my channel.
Okay, cool. Shinto shrines are all about life, and you go there to pray to lots of different kami or different gods. So it
sounds like a religion
beautiful
to me.
Exactly. So it's very much religion, but they're religious, but they don't necessarily believe, and they're not they don't have
maybe is it that they're maybe spiritual and not religious?
No, I would say they're religious and not spiritual whatsoever. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
In like a Christian Western way of looking at spirituality, I would say, yeah. So it's interesting.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. Learn something new. So to bring it back to trading though in Japan and Tokyo and stuff, the candle charts though, that is a system out of that culture.
It is. Yeah, the Japanese candlesticks were way back in the feudal era, I believe. I want to say it was in the 16th or 17th century, but feudal lords were looking at a way to track price. And they realized that if they could track the starting price, the open and the close, and also monitor the extreme high and the low on a period, the traders of that day were using that to track the price of rice to figure out when it was a good time to buy more or sell more. It's a really, really interesting history on that. And then of course,
I don't know if many people know that.
Yeah.
Traders maybe do, but that's something I learned many years ago, and it's interesting that you're in Japan. Is there a large, from my understanding in Japan, there's a large trading community, like
the nature of Japan, Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it has to be because Japan is a really small island. Japan is smaller than the state of California, but kind of spread out just like it. So Japan's, for many, many, many years, the doors of trade were closed. So when they finally made that decision to open it up, I believe in the Meiji era, then they had no choice but to trade. So trading was all part of Japan's development as a country. So by doing foreign trade, that not leaned itself, but that basically gave an introduction to the world markets, to trading goods, commodities, services, metals, things like that. And then, of course, the Nikkei has stocks
Yes,
in
the
their own,
legendary Nikkei
their own
that's
basket. Yep.
been in a bear market for 180,000 years.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother conversation. But so today I want you to, give my audience some alpha. What's on your mind? I mean, we got a lot going on. Evergrande, we've got even some Bitcoin related things. I think I saw something earlier today. I actually talked about this. Robinhood, third largest Bitcoin
Yeah.
holder. Just give me your overall macro perspective on the markets, specifically crypto, and then if you want to zoom out a little bit to a more TradFi perspective, because I think that's always important for individuals to
Yeah.
understand that aspect when trading.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. When I first jumped into crypto, I was thinking, well, crypto is its own bubble. But over the years, we've realized that there's so much more outside influence on the price, on the narrative. Back in 2018, there was a big narrative about the ETF. The Bitcoin ETF is going to save the market and it's going to push Bitcoin back up to 20K and beyond. It didn't. I mean, lots of attempts at Bitcoin ETFs, but now BlackRock has a Bitcoin ETF that, in my opinion, is 100% sure thing. Because if Larry Fink is behind it, BlackRock is saying they want to do this, who's going to tell them no?
No
So
one. I think it's just
exactly.
about timing, though. So let me get your insight on when you think timing wise that will happen, and will that happen in 2023 or something that you see in 2024 or beyond?
You know what? I don't know when it's going to happen, but I know that it's going to happen. I could say that with confidence. I don't have
Yes, I agree.
a date in mind, but again, BlackRock pulls the strings of the world, in my opinion. This isn't a conspiracy theory. Like there's a lot of weird stuff that happens at BlackRock. So I see them, whatever they decide to do, it's going to happen. They just have that. I mean, when you control like trillions and trillions of dollars of the world's assets,
Yes,
if you want to make something happen, it just kind of happens.
that's right.
So yeah.
So how do you
With
feel about that though? How do you feel about a big player like BlackRock entering this crypto industry? Is it for the good? Is it for the worse?
mm,
What's your take on it? And I want to know more so, not from a trading perspective, because we both know from a trading perspective that's a plus for us. That's
mm,
added liquidity.
mm-hmm.
That's more money coming in. That's going to be more.
Yeah,
It's going to be better for us, right?
yeah,
Deeper
yeah.
markets and all of that. More so from the philosophy of the ethos of the
Mm,
crypto investor. Like we're trying to get away from Wall Street. How do
yeah.
you how do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, you mentioned earlier too that Robinhood didn't publicly announce, but basically a wallet was found to be linked to Robinhood, and they own like $3 billion worth of Bitcoin. We also have
That's
Michael
right.
Saylor that just doesn't sell. He keeps buying and buying and buying and buying.
Mhm,
Inevitably, we're going to have these really big holders, individual holders. Personally, I mean, I don't think we can do anything about that, which is
mhm,
kind of a good thing because decentralization, having it be free money means that we should be free to be able to buy as much as we want, sell as much as
mhm,
we want. Like it's not controlled by any one party. But at the same time, there's a bit of democratization of Bitcoin where the idea, like you said, the ethos is that everyone should have access to it. So what happens when BlackRock, Robinhood, Michael Saylor, other large entities and corporations and governments are mining it, are accumulating it, and basically as we go on in the future, as you know, when we come up to the next Bitcoin halving in April, the distributing supply will be reduced. So
mhm,
what happens to, my parents if they want to buy Bitcoin or
mhm.
someone's grandma when they're realizing, well, if the world's financial landscape continues to worsen, they're basically edging people out of the market, which
Yeah,
I think is what you're kind of getting at. And I'm
correct.
not really a fan of that, but at the same time, it can't really help it. So I think this is the
Right.
time when all of these players are silently moving in the background to start looking at things. Unfortunately, the majority of people are going to be late. We're going to see tons of people come into crypto in fall and winter of next year, in my opinion, just based off of the cycle of the Bitcoin halving. And
Mm-hmm.
then about 6, 8, 10 months after that, we see an all-time high. I don't know if we're going to see an all-time high for the next market. My friend, Gareth Soloway, whom you know and love as well,
Yes.
thinks that we're
Yes.
not going to see a new all-time high for Bitcoin. That's possible. I'm more leaning on the side of 100K being the top. But
Okay.
again, it's not about the price. It's about the retail trader, the retail investor. And
Yes.
we're going to see people come in way too late. So people that are watching your channel right now, you have an edge. And you also have a
That's right.
responsibility if you care about people and you have friends and family members that are looking for ways to get out of the system. This is the time to buy when Bitcoin's at what, 26,000 instead of up at like 80,000 or 90,000. Like they can make a much better return on investment. Of course, not financial advice, but this is the time. Like I already told friends and family way back in November last year when BTC was at 20K. I was like, you know what? It could go down, but it also has a greater chance of it going up. Now, of course, when FTX happened, the price tanked to 16.5, but
Mm-hmm.
still those people are sitting pretty. So I
Mm-hmm.
think we as investors and traders have a responsibility to educate people, to give them some alpha, to give them some news, because most people are too busy to catch up with it. So I applaud you on what you do. It's not easy to report the news and to try to help people see the big picture. But
Mm-hmm.
we also have an obligation to give people tools and education and resources to
Right.
empower them and to help them financially.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly there. Good points. With this Robinhood move, I
Mhm,
was trying to dissect this, and really the main question that I wanted to pose, and maybe I'll ask you, is that
mhm.
is this even a relevant topic or subject? Is this just another clickbait title for an article? Because if Robinhood doesn't own these bitcoins and they're just custody with them, meaning
Mm,
they're the those are the Bitcoin holdings
mm.
of their customers. Does it really matter? Does this mean anything that they're the third largest and Binance is number one and Bitfinex is number two? I want to know what Robinhood has in their coffers for Bitcoin. That's what I want to know. In their
Yeah.
personal coffers.
Well, maybe they're looking at, okay, for one, I'll say this. Nothing happens right away.
Hmm.
You can't suddenly build wealth and greatness in one day. So this news coming out, this has been a slow and steady accumulation of for Robinhood. I don't know for how long. I haven't looked at the wallet address or anything like that. But I can tell you that this has been a planned and calculated move on their part. I've seen all the other stories saying that Robinhood might be the custody holder for the Bitcoin ETF. Again, that's
I
like
heard
one
about
news
that
story
as
that
well.
yeah, but I don't know if that's actually true or not. Either way, as a company, I think that that is a fantastic move to accumulate Bitcoin, especially in this range, to future proof yourself as a business.
Hmm.
Um,
So
maybe they're gonna,
these are Bitcoins, then you're saying that these are Bitcoins that they actually own and they're not part of their customers' holdings?
well, I mean,
This is
in
what I was
order
trying to
to
figure
launch an
out.
ETF, you should have physical custody of whatever asset that you're launching that ETF for, right?
Right.
So maybe this is part of a bigger plan for Robinhood to launch an ETF through their app as a way to bring retail
Mm,
traders into that. I don't know. Maybe they're actually going to let people buy the Bitcoin from Robinhood, which would be very different since, correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't used Robinhood in what, like 8 years? But
yeah,
last time
me.
I checked, you don't actually own anything. You buy the shares of it, and then
Mm,
nothing really happens. You can't really transfer
right.
the ownership of those shares. You can't withdraw those tokens. So maybe they're making a change in the Robinhood app, and that would require a ton of legal hopscotch and jump rope they'd have to go through and flaming rings and everything with the United States. but maybe that's what they're working up toward, that they're going to be an actual exchange to rival Binance, Coinbase, Bitfinex, etc. I don't know.
Yeah. Are you paying attention to any of the TradFi news that came out last week? We had the Brics meet down in South Africa. Tell us your take on that whole situation and how does that impact crypto in the short to medium?
Well, there's a lot of talk about the Brics organization, which, if I can do this, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, I think.
Yeah.
So these 5 countries have started a movement attracting lots of other countries, either second world, third world countries, but to find a way to, and originally the narrative was to de-dollarize the world, to get rid of the petrodollar. I think that that's changing in that they just want to have something where they can trade freely without relying on the petrodollar. I don't think they're trying to overtake it. I think they're trying to find a new method of it. And there was lots of talk initially about looking for, or basically creating the currency based off of a basket of different currencies, including digital currencies. Bitcoin was never specified. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be Dogecoin. We'll say that much. But it seems to me like they're going to be working together in a way to just to stop having so much reliance on international trade with the United States. Because let's be real, I mean, the U.S. has an amazing track record, especially in the 20th century. But towards the late 20th century, things started to become very convoluted for the U.S., especially when monetary policy changed with, I believe it was Nixon, when they moved away from the gold standard. So I think countries are looking at the fall of America, recognizing moving away from gold is a bad idea, and things are only getting worse. I forget you might know this statistic, but it's something like 80% of all US dollars have been printed within the last 5 years. Something stupid like that. Like it's
crazy.
It's broken. So I think countries are tired of relying on a broken currency. So let's get together, let's find something else that works better, and let's create it from a basket of commodities that we believe have inherent value, like gold, like oil, and maybe even Bitcoin, maybe even Dogecoin.
What's the likelihood in your opinion that Bitcoin will be in that basket?
Oh, in my opinion, if it's not, it should be. I would be surprised, especially if you think about the government of China and India. They have banned and unbanned Bitcoin so many times. Even now, I believe Hong Kong is now super pro crypto, and the Bank of China is supporting that, and they're pouring money into that. While on mainland China, I think that they're still prohibiting the buying and selling of cryptocurrency. So anytime a country's, deciding monetary policy like a light switch, on and off, there's a lot of people in that government's financial policy making system that are pro crypto, that are pro Bitcoin, that are pro everything about innovation. And then there's the older regime that are trying to say, no, we're not going to do this. And I think we're seeing a tug of war. But all this to say, I do think that Bitcoin has an extremely strong chance of being in this basket of commodities that the Brics currency could consist of. I will say too that I don't expect the Brics currency to come out next year. I think we're going to be waiting 5 to 10 years to see what this thing is going to look like. I don't think there's going to be any immediate move on this, but I think it's important to pay attention to see what happens, because again, like you said, Blackrock is amazing. Having an ETF, like them or not, they're buying up BTC even right now today to secure the price, so that way they can meet the demand. Robinhood buying up tons of BTC. Other countries are buying up BTC as well and mining Bitcoin. The country of Oman has made this new initiative, like $1.1 billion, to jumpstart this Bitcoin mining infrastructure in their country. You have El Salvador mining Bitcoin with volcano energy. There's all this stuff. So all this to say, I think a lot of countries are starting to wake up to the reality that they're going to lose if they don't adapt. And in my mind, adaptation is Bitcoin.
Are you I want to ping you on this because Gareth and I are in the same boat in regards to seeing lower Bitcoin prices before we see higher Bitcoin prices. What's your take on it technically, or even fundamentally on the next 12 months?
In the next 12 months, I think that Bitcoin will have one more shot up at 30K, and then we are going to see what's going to happen next. there's a really long-term support line. Bitcoin is heading up, or if it's heading down for at least the end of this year. And we have like 3 more months to the end of the year, right? I think that we could see one more uptick, one more move up here to this 30K range or so. But there is this broken trend line right here that, yes, we crossed down, but it was respected before. This would be resistance if we come back up to hit it at about 30K. This indicator that I use for everything is called the TBO, the trending breakout indicator. And it automatically plots support and resistance. So there's resistance right here at 30K that matches up with this target right here. But it's foolish to also just make a big decision off of one thing, which is why I have all these different drawings on here. So there's this really long-term trend line that was broken. It kept being pushed up, and then finally it was broken up above. It literally bounced off of it. Actually, it pierced it a couple of days ago. This red line. So there's support here, which also complements historical support and resistance here on this third line. So all this to say that I expect short term to see a bounce off of this range where we currently are up here to 30K-ish. After that, I mean, if we can break above this line, then we'll make a continuation on it. But at the same time, it seems more likely, I lost all my drawing tools. There we go. It seems more likely for us to do something like this, to see some sort of big push. People get excited, go sideways, come down here to test this again. And if this green line breaks, this is in my opinion, this is our last line of support. And then it's going down to test and see, well, what's going to happen at 20K.
If that scenario plays out, that looks like a Head and Shoulders. You've got your left shoulder over there.
Yes.
I don't know what.
Yep.
Okay.
I see that. Wow, good eye. Yeah, so I guess we would call this the shoulder lines. So we got our left shoulder. It should be a little bit high. Actually, it is higher because it is higher. It is. Hilarious. Hey. Yeah, and if it stops at 30K, that would be the right shoulder. That would be a crazy bearish sign. Yes. Wow, amazing eye.
Hey, man.
You do this for a living, don't you?
15 years. 16 years.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, okay. Well, interesting though. Interesting take. I just like to ping people because all of us have different opinions and views, and you can kind of take everybody's opinions and come up with your own. So that's interesting to see.
Yeah.
There.
If this is in fact going to be a head and shoulders pattern, that's going to break. That will definitely fall much, much lower. We can use Gareth's technique to figure out how much farther it could fall. So we're going to take this, and if we break the neckline right about there, then we're plotted at just about 20K, 19.5. Which would be this support line. That's scary.
That would make sense.
Wow. Okay.
20K.
Wow.
All right. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Well, are you paying attention to Evergrande at all from a TradFi perspective and the commercial real estate unfoldings that are happening?
No, I haven't. Okay. I remember hearing a lot of news about Evergrande and a lot of fear about Evergrande last, I want to say spring. It's been a while, right?
Yep.
So out of sight, out of mind. I haven't thought about it in a long time. So why don't you fill me in?
Well, no, I'm just wondering. I'm just wondering, what are you from a, if any, from a traditional TradFi finance perspective? What's on your radar? Are you paying attention to anything?
Yeah.
Let us know.
Well, okay, let's bring it full circle then, because I haven't. I saw the news article on Twitter, but I didn't read it. I did also see that the government of China is looking to reduce the short-term trading tax, like short-term holders tax, whatever, by 50% to hopefully inject more money into the stock market in China. So if Evergrande is failing or is bankrupt, and the government is trying to get people to put money into the system to support and prop up the financial markets, those aren't good signs. On the TradFi side, on the US, I've been bearish for a while. Even on the big uptick, the big surge that we saw in June and July, I wasn't buying it. Literally, I wasn't buying it. And figuratively, I wasn't buying it. just because it felt so forced. And anytime I see talking heads on the screen saying, this is an amazing opportunity to buy, we've never seen the market more bullish than this, executives from banks telling you to buy and they're super bullish on this, that, and the other, that makes me go, hold on. This is weird. You shouldn't be this bullish on the stock market, knowing everything that's happening in the United States right now in the financial system. That to me was also a red flag. Plus, I mean, using indicators and using RSI as a guide, I'm still not bullish on the S&P. I'm not bullish on NDX, not bullish on the Dow Jones. I think we're going to see some sideways consolidation for the next month or two, the last time I looked at it. And then after that, it would fall. Because anytime we make a big move up and we start to consolidate sideways, this not moving up higher is bearish, even though it's not going down yet. Anytime we're seeing this happen, right? So we're just seeing
the powers that be they want this thing to go up and to the right. It's just, so like you said, if they're having problems propping it up and it's a sideways market, then there's some problems there for sure. What are your top coins you're eyeing right now? I know you're an active trader, and I'm assuming you invest as well, but I think your whole thing is being an active trader. Tell us what you actively trade and how your system here on the bettertrades.com, what pairs do you guys use or actually trade over there?
You asked a really good question. You're asking, what pairs am I looking at trading right now, and or what pairs am I looking at investing in? So when I think investing, I think long-term holding. For me, it's always Bitcoin. It's an easy answer. It will never change. Bitcoin is going to be the one thing that I'm looking to grow. So the way that I do that is through trading BTC pairs like ETH-BTC, ADA BTC, XRP BTC, whatever, or trading stable coins. For the last 3 or 4 months, I've been favoring stablecoin trading compared to BTC paired trading, just because Bitcoin hasn't given me the good confidence that I need to trade against it right now, especially looking at Bitcoin dominance, how it's shot all the way up to 50% and it's still hovering and right about, I think, at 49% right now. As soon as it starts to drop, that's going to be the green light to me to go heavy into alts, especially BTC paired alts. But for now, I'm staying on stables. So I'm always talking about how can you leverage the market no matter what the situation is with different tools, passive and active trading tools, bot trading, active trading. So we are trading tons of pairs all the time. I put out a monthly watch list with our Better Traders memberships. We've had pairs pump 50, 100% plus in this last month alone. And the pairs that I find too are specifically for active trading and bot trading, so that when I find a pair and I want to share it with our members, it has to meet a couple of criteria. For example, for like a bot trading pair, I want to find a chart that either has nice cyclical oscillating patterns like this. It doesn't have to be straight and perfect, like a sine wave, but something similar, something that's gradually moving up, definitely not gradually moving lower. That's a little bit harder to trade. And also something that has enough new volume coming into it to sustain the price action. I do like charts that pump a ton, but not for bot trading, simply because if I'm using a bot and the bot is automatically buying without me telling it what to do, if the signal has its started deal way up here at the top of the chart and it starts grinding lower, it's going to be much more work and effort for me to dig out that position. I've done it before. I've dug out positions that are 70, 80% in the red and have come out with way more profit, but it's a lot easier to trade those manually. So with DCA bot trading, I want to focus on charts that are just doing a little bit of a dance like this. One chart that I really, really like right now is Monero. If I could just pop up that chart. So the chart for Monero to me is fantastic for bot trading. It doesn't have crazy wild swings. If we go on a faster time frame, like the 30-minute time frame, this is fantastic for bots, just because we have a whole lot of oscillation happening and we get some corrections in the price. But this is what I'm really looking for. Even if I zoom out, and I know we've come down from quite a big price up here at 160 or so, but the truth is that this dip down here, if I missed this recovery, I had another chance. And this is why I love trading crypto. So if I got stuck with my trade right up here and I'm looking to take profit in this range, Well, I'm going to be looking to place another trade down here to exit out in profit way down. Oh, once this catches up down here, go in heavy. And then as soon as we see any sort of bounce, I'm going to clock out of that trade with way more profit than I originally was going to make way up here. So time frame wise, this is also why I like this chart, is because these bounces happen within a week. That's good. You're going to find charts that take a lot longer for them to bounce. So I really like Monero XMR, just because it's one of these OG crypto coins that I don't think is going to go away. I think people are still going to look for these, not decentralized, but these anonymous-ish tokens, right. Zcash, Monero. I can't remember others right now.
Privacy coins, yeah.
Exactly, the privacy coins. Thank you. That was the word I was looking for. So yeah, I still think that there's a use case and a demand for these, whether they're for good reasons or for bad reasons. But that means that there's going to be someone buying and selling it, which is what I want to be a part of. So
right, exactly. Well, it's been great, man. Thank you for coming on. Definitely have to have you come back on in a couple of months to give us an update on things. Any last pointers you want to leave with the audience?
Yes. So I just launched a new course on verifiedinvesting.com with Gareth Soloway called the Verified Crypto Guide. I'm really excited to have this course be live and published. This is the kind of thing we were talking about before, where for all of you that are crypto traders and investors now, and you're still with us in this market, and you're looking at your friends and family that don't really understand crypto, and you don't have the patience to explain to them how to do it, right. I've already done all the legwork for you. So the Verified Crypto Guide is a beginner level foundational course to help people understand what cryptocurrency is, how to store it safely, how to make sure that you're not going to get scammed out of the crypto that you have, how to move tokens, what's the cheapest tokens to move around, talking about wallets, talking about exchanges, all that fun stuff. This is a fantastic course. Plus, I bring in Gareth Soloway, who's a legendary trader from Verified Investing and In the Money Stocks, to talk about trading crypto, to talk about operating and functioning inside of crypto compared to the traditional stock market. So again, I'm super proud and excited of this course, and I highly recommend it to anybody that's getting into crypto, getting their feet wet, and they want to just jump in feet first and feel confident in the cryptocurrency space. You got to check out the Verified Crypto Guide.
All right, sounds good. I'll have a link for that in the description below. Aaron Dishner, again, thank you for tuning in and coming to Kick It with CB. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, go follow this guy. He's on Twitter, X now. It's hard for me to say that, but I'll have all his links in the description below. That's it, guys. Another Kicking It session with Crypto Blood. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. And I'm out of here. Holla.